Hello, this is Dean Phoenix with another Witch 3 video, this time the finale of the Hearts of Stone part of the guide. Now first of all, this video contains a lot of spoilers for the end of Hearts of Stone. I don't want to spoil the surprise, so if you don't want to get spoilers, don't watch the rest of the video. A quick thing first about the third level of the Runewright. Now this costs 15,000 crowns and it's very expensive for what you get, in my opinion. The level 3 enchantments, there's Invigoration on the sword, but it's a little overrated, especially with how the mechanics work. It doesn't actually add a lot of damage unless you're using a lot of potions with either White Rafford, and that's only for one hit at a time. Severance is much better. The only really great level 3 enchantment is Levity, but the build that we've been using works absolutely fine without it. So if you don't have the 15,000 crowns, you can always wait until much later. See if you have the money after you've got the Grandmaster gear. You should always prioritise that. So just a quick thing there. Now, at the end of Hearts of Stone, the last quest is Whatsoever a Man Soweth, and it's the resolution of the Hearts of Stone DLC, and you have a decision to make with Olgierd and Master Mirror. So, as Gaunter O'Dimm makes this choice, you can either choose to not save Olgierd, in which case Gaunter O'Dimm will give you a reward, or later on I'll be showing that you can choose to save Olgierd, and there's an extra part of the quest if you do that, with different rewards itself. Now these rewards do carry over into New Game Plus, so you do get to keep them, but to be perfectly honest, all of the stuff that you get from the end of Hearts of Stone is a little underwhelming, especially compared to what you get from Blood and Wine and how much that affects New Game Plus. So make whichever decision you're comfortable with, but like you can either treat this as your proper ending of Hearts of Stone, or you could do that in New Game Plus if you're planning on doing New Game Plus. So just bear that in mind. For this particular playthrough, I'm going to be taking one of the rewards because I've never actually done that before. I always saved Olgierd, but I just wanted to do something a bit different here. So the options that you get, you can want to be as swift as the wind, which gets you a saddle. Never go hungry again, which gets you some infinite food. A bottle of vodka that's always full, which will get you infinite alcohol. So instead of your hard alcohol, you can get infinite hard alcohol there. And or you can have choose to be Make Me Rich, which gets you 5,000 crowns, or you can say that you don't want anything from Gaunter O'Dimm. So if you're going to say that you don't want anything, then in my opinion you might as well try and save Olgierd. But the options that you get is, if you say that you want to be fast, you get the saddle, and it's the Comparison of Lament. And this is actually a very interesting saddle because it does a few different things. First of all, it makes Roach look like a demon horse, so it makes him black and makes his eyes turn red. It's also 100 plus 100 stamina, so it's the best saddle even compared to the Blood and Wine ones. It's the best saddle you can get in the game. And also, it has the ability to it will stun one human enemy. So if you ride it into a crowd, it will stun one human enemy like Axie. So it's kind of interesting. And obviously, it's a unique item. Now, if you choose to never go hungry again, you'll get the Horn of Plenty. The Horn of Plenty will give you infinite food, and but it heals you less because it's an infinite item. So it'll heal you for 40 heal per second outside of combat, and only 25 per heal per second in combat. So it's not really that useful in my opinion, because as you can see there, I use potions for healing and decoctions most of the time, so I've got absolutely tons of food, and you'd be better off using just the food that you've got and gourmet if you really want to use food to heal. So I don't think the Horn of Plenty is that good an option. It would let you sell all of the food that you've got if you wanted, but again, I don't really find it to be that useful an option. A bottle of vodka that's always full will get you an item that will give you infinite hard alcohol. So whenever you meditate, it uses an alcohol that's made from scorpion tails, according to the description. And you never need to worry about alcohol again. But alcohol is one of the things that you will always have tons of, in my opinion. So you've got a bottomless carafe there, but if you've been looting things throughout the game, which you probably have been to this point, you'll have absolutely hundreds of Dwarven Spirit, and probably a couple of hundred Alkahest as well. So the only advantage to having that item is that it will let you sell all of those and get a couple of extra crowns. So it'll get you a couple of hundred extra crowns, maybe a couple of thousand even, but it's not a significant amount, and it just doesn't really seem to be that useful a thing to have to me, because like I say, you already have so many alcohol, and you'll already be getting tons more if you're going to do New Game Plus as well. So I've not shown the getting the 5,000 crowns because that's obviously self-explanatory. If you choose to save Olgierd, you will have this riddle instead. And again, this is like enormous spoilers, so if you don't want to know what the end of the riddle is, try and figure it out yourself. It's very satisfying. I actually did figure out the riddle, but I just didn't figure out the last part of it in time the first time I did it through. But it's a very satisfying little mental challenge, and it's something to have a go at. But anyway, he will read you, Gaunter O'Dimm will send you to this sort of nightmare world, and then you have to try and figure out the riddle yourself. Now there are a couple of things that doing it this way gets you their own sort of unique rewards, so instead of Gaunter giving you these rewards, you'll get different things from it. And basically what you get is, as well as the satisfaction of saving Olgierd, if you wanted to do that, then you also get 2 unique swords if you do the correct things during this part of the actual game. So if you flash back to when we were having this part, just remember this advice.
Stand in his way and you'll meet a fate worse than death. Seek salvation in glass that can't be broken.
So with that small piece of advice, just bear that in mind when you are doing the riddle and trying to figure it out. So when you go to the nightmare world, there is a unique sword which you can only get in the nightmare world. So you run forward at the start and you'll take out a couple of foglets, and then if you bear left, you should eventually find this point where you're fighting a ghost version of the Heim that you fought in the possession quest with Ceres in Skellige. So when you take this out, you can run up and jump up here and you get the Viper Venomous Silver Sword. Now this is the only place in the game that you can get this, and it is a pretty interesting sword. Like the steel one, it's a level 39 sword, and it has some good little bonuses. It has 75% critical hit damage bonus, and it also has a high chance to poison, so it would be an excellent sword. It actually gets a little outclassed one level later by the Grandmaster swords. But it's on their sort of level, so it's a very useful sword to get. If you wanted to use that, you could definitely make use of it, and it is a unique sword. It'll get outclassed in New Game Plus, so again, it's not a major concern if you don't do it this way. You will miss out on that version of the sword, but you could always get the version in New Game Plus, which will be, you know, scaled to a much higher level, because you'll probably be about level 90 in New Game Plus. Level 89 I was when I got that sword. So after that, you want to be heading to the right, and as you come back towards the middle of the area, and in the distance you'll be able to see this house. Now you can either fight the gargoyle there, or you can just run away from it. You are timed, it won't take very long to kill with our build, because we do so much damage anyway, but you can just run past it if you want as well. Now here you fall through the floor and take damage, so just be aware that you need to be ready to roll with B as you hit the ground for when this part falls away. And again, this is spoilers for the end of this Hearts of Stone and the very clever little riddle, but if you're watching here, then I'm going to assume that you're okay with the spoilers, so if not, look away now. Everybody ready? Are we all gone? Good. Right, so whenever you're running towards the mirror, the mirrors will smash, and so you're not able to find the reflection if you'd figured out the riddle. But as the dog and the cat said, what you need to do is find salvation in the glass that cannot be broken. And so if you can restore water to this area of the fountain by breaking the wall at the back, that will let you look in the water and find the reflection and use that as a mirror and find Master Mirror in there and win his riddle and save Olgierd and defeat his challenge. So if you choose to do it this way, instead of being able to pick a reward from Gaunter, so you couldn't have the saddle or the horn of plenty or the bottomless carafe, but instead you will save Olgierd and save his soul, and Geralt gets to keep his own soul, which is, you know, a good bonus. Always like to keep your soul. And what will happen is that as well as having got the Viper Venomous Silver Sword, you will also get Iris, which is the special sword that Olgierd will give you, and it has its own ability where when it gets charged in battle and glows red, it will take some of your vitality and expend that on a powerful hit, so it will increase the damage of your next strong attack when you do that. So that's quite an interesting sword, and that's a unique sword as well. Again, it's a reasonable sword, it's pretty decent. It has its own little thing now, which is a quite interesting little ability, but it'll probably get outclassed by the Grandmaster swords when you get to level 40 in Blood and Wine. So basically, whatever you do at the end of Hearts of Stone, do whichever you actually feel, make whatever choice you want. That's the end of that fantastic expansion pack, but they won't have like a very large effect on the game going forward. It's just whatever you get to keep for New Game Plus. If you choose the swords, they will get outclassed, you know, reasonably quickly anyway, even though they are unique items. If you choose one of the other rewards, they don't make an enormous difference. But for this purposes of this playthrough, just to get the comparison of Lament, I felt I'd do that for something a bit different, so that's what I've gone with this time. But I really don't like leaving Olgierd to the mercy of Master Mirror, so I'll probably be saving him in New Game Plus, just to get the New Game Plus versions of those swords. So that's the DLC sorted. Now you can see here I have no money whatsoever, and that's by design so that I can show a video about how you make money later in the game. But if you have chosen to get all 3 levels of the Runewright, you probably will be a little low on crowns, because that's 30k and that's very expensive, so just bear that in mind. So that's the end of Hearts of Stone. I hope you enjoyed those episodes, and what we're going to be doing next is going on to Blood and Wine and how we progress through Toussaint and set up the character. So thank you for watching the videos. If you haven't already, then please like and subscribe, leave any comments or questions, and I will just leave you with a little bit of the Blood and Wine teaser for what we're going to be doing in the episodes upcoming. Thank you for watching.